So to wrap this up, since this is getting long, um, I, I do believe that there is a place for our awareness and consciousness in the ether or the collective. I have my own reasons for believing this, but I also realize that if there was a beginning and if there's going to be an end, if the universe was really started and is expanding and growing and then one day may recede back into itself, it means that it's expanding, opening up into all these different awarenesses like a flower in bloom, and then it dies. But then it starts over again, like a bulb, let's say. All these different patterns in nature and fractals, to sum this up, what convinces me that there's something greater than us, what convinces me that life has a plan of some sort or is working on the basis of a blueprint, an understanding greater than ours, is because the human body alone is made up of more bacteria than we have natural cells, our own cells. We have trillions of bacteria. We have so many different groups functioning together to make our bodies operate that one organ is amazing in itself. The idea of the single eyeball, the nostril, the way that the different centers work, smell, the sense of smell, the sense of sight. We observe everything upside down, our brain translates it. What really is vision? It's nothing more than the reflection of light, but it just happens to be just the right spectrum that works for us. All of these things people can say, well, just because that's amazing doesn't mean that everything is, divinely inspired or created. No, that's true, it doesn't. But I wonder why people find it so hard to grasp the idea that there could be something greater and that it's no stranger or no more ridiculous of a notion than the idea that everything's by chance. They're both ridiculous. The truth is always stranger than fiction. In the world that we live in, regardless if it was made, I agree with, say, the atheist that says if it was made by chance, it's even more amazing. Totally. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't created or there's not in a process of creation. But what I've observed is it comes down to the individual trying to find comfort in his life, to wonder what's going to happen after I die. Because every person's going to have that realization. Every person's going to have that moment where they, at least a few times, where they're like, wait a minute, what's this really all about? And those are the moments where we start to ask ourselves, if I do die, and there is judgment of some sort, how do I want to say I've lived my life? For me, that means I live with value. It's unfortunate I get bashed by Christians who say that's not enough, that, well, if you don't take Jesus, it doesn't matter if you're the best person in the world, you're going to hell to burn for eternity. So a human who's born into this confusing world, who decides to take it upon themselves to, try to do the best they can, use their rational mind that they were given, that if this God did give us a mind, we were given to discern between bullshit and reality, and then being punished for not believing something that sounds like bullshit. And so I've given up on trying to explain to Christians, like I used to give long drawn out comments back to Christians when they start quoting the Bible or start telling me I'm going to hell. And nowadays I just keep it simple because it's not worth the time. And I do the same thing with the New Agers who tell me that, you have to work through your chakras and you adjust your soul. It's not just Christians, it's not just them, it's the hardcore atheists, the hardcore people who are preaching everything. Everybody wants to give you the answer to what happens after you die, and not a single one of their answers resonates with me strong enough to say that makes sense, and I think that's okay. So that's my view. I hope I covered it all. And yes, psychedelics do get you a glimpse of that. I need some. Need to take a trip. Peace, everybody. Have a great night.